Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Shotgun Wrestling Radio. I hope you all are having an awesome week. I'm hoping to have a guest in the name of Jared Thumb here soon. So until then, we're just kind of hanging out, talking Bridge City Slam here. Great Bridge City Slam coming this is Saturday at the Bridgeview Center in Ottumwa. And hopefully you guys can all make it because it's going to be an absolutely amazing show. I, for one, always love Bridge City Slam. Bridge City Slam for me is one of my favorite shows of the year. I tell everybody it's our WrestleMania, which is because you get to the Bridgeview Center and the place just looks absolutely incredible. I was part of the very first Bridge City Slam. We had at the time the first Bridge City Slam. For those of you that were there that would remember the first Bridge City Slam, we didn't even have half the room barely opened up, and that's how we kind of treated the first Bridge City Slam. And thankfully, from there, we've been able to build it up every year from here, and it's only gotten bigger. I think last year we pretty much sold out of our general admission seating, which is pretty rad. We had a great time then, and I know we're gonna have a great time here this year. We got a lot of fun things planned. And yeah, it's going to be great. Let's go ahead and while I'm waiting for our guest, Mr. Jared Thumb, to come in, let me kind of run down what you guys can see. For those who aren't aware, we'll run down the card here really quick. For those who are aware, that the Central Empire Wrestling title is on the line. It is a triple threat matchup for obviously the CEW title. Jared Thumb defending against Frankie Kazarian and Roy Fox. Jared Thumb is actually coming up on 1 year as CEW champion. If you remember, Jared used the instant ticket last year and cashed in on Rory at the very end of the night, which is one of the most unforgettable moments we've ever had here in Central Empire Wrestling. It was just, again, such a great moment. It was Rory versus Enzo. Things were kind of going every which way, and Storm Thomas comes in, gives Rory a spine buster. Here comes Jared. Jared gives him a stunner, cashes that briefcase in. 1, 2, 3. Jared is your new Central Empire Wrestling champion. So that was just, again, great moment there last year. And then, so again, triple threat matchup. For that matchup is presented by our good friends at Home Plate Sports Cards. Thanks again to our good friend Eddie over there at Home Plate Sports Cards. He will also have a booth, part of the Fan Fest. He usually has a good selection of wrestling cards there as well as just regular sports cards. So another one that I've been really excited for since the beginning, since Austin told me about this year's Bridge City, we are doing what is called a Legends of Iowa wrestling matchup, where we're bringing back a bunch of legends from the past. So for anybody that used to go to a lot of shows back in the early years, some of these promotions, I'm talking, like 2005, anywhere from like 2005 to 2012, probably recognize a lot of these guys here. And there is our guest right now. And try and welcome him in here. So, a wrestling match. It's going to be an 8-man tag team matchup with Brian Ash teaming with Latin Thunder, teaming with Austin Bayless and Gage Octane, going up against Chance Cordova, Ben Cross, Devin Carter, and AJ Smooth in the Legends of Iowa wrestling match. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And here at this time is our wonderful guest, the one and only Mr. Jared Thumb. Jared, what's going on, man? How are you, dude?
Oh, not too bad. Just had to change a poopy diaper before I got on here, so it's been a little eventful getting here. But
hopefully not yours.
No, not mine. Thankfully.
You're a little frozen on me right now, but that's all right. But yeah, man, we got just kind of running through the card here as I was waiting for you. Another match we got coming up here this Saturday. Let's say hello to some of our guests. Hello, Clint. Hello, Gary. Hello, everybody else that is in here. Rich Maxwell versus Gary Roosevelt Graham. First time matchup. I don't think any of us have really seen Gary Roosevelt Graham in Central Empire Wrestling before, so that'll be exciting. Gary's been doing this since, to my surprise, like July of 1999. So Gary's been kind of here just as long as Rory has. So that's interesting to see, because from what I've seen of Gary is still in tremendous shape. So I'm really curious to see how he'll go up against a dude like Rich Maxwell. as we, like I said, first ever matchup for Central Empire Wrestling. So the Iowa Wrestling Showcase match, which is an instant ticket match this year. So the winner of this gets the coveted instant ticket, which, Jared, I know you loved the instant ticket because it brought you that beautiful, beautiful belt around your shoulder there. And it's going to be the Damien Saint versus the Death Dealer. This match is coming to us courtesy of our good friend Clint Dye from Tag Team Photography. That match has potential to be the match of the night, match of the year. I'm really, really excited for that one. Now we also have a four-way for the CEW Tag Team titles. Donnie Pepper Cricket and Mason Grayskull taking on the team of the 319, Ethan Everhart and Jay Wesley, going up against the team of the MILFs, Bryce Jordan and Jimmy Wild versus the Vaudevillains, coming to us courtesy of our friends at Social Experiment Wrestling. And that one's going to be really, really interesting to see how that goes out. You have two really veteran teams there, with Donnie Pepper Cricket being, as he kind of just referred to himself over on the Two Count Comedy Meets Wrestling podcast I was listening to as I was kind of getting my stuff set up here. You know, he's kind of a tag team horn, and he's kind of right because he reminds me a lot of Justin Decent, where it seems like anybody Donnie teams up with, they just win tag team gold. That's what Donnie does. And really, 2 years ago at Bridge City Slam, Donnie and the Iceman won the tag team title. So Donnie's coming up on champion as 2 years as tag team champion here in Central Empire Wrestling. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in that matchup there. And then another matchup being brought to us by our good friends at Social Experiment Wrestling. We have Hart and Bauer versus JDX. So again, thank you to our friends in Social Experiment Wrestling for bringing us some really great action this year. And then we have Women's Tag Team Wrestling coming your way, as the Hale Twins are going to take on TNA Knockout Masa Slamovich and Kelsey Magnolia. That match is being brought to us by Zach's Flooring. So again, really stacked lineup here for Bridge City Slam. And let's not forget to talk about some of the amazing guests that we have coming in this year. We have the Godfather coming in. We have Christy Hemme coming in. We have Jacqueline coming in. I know you're gonna have to watch out for Jacqueline. She's gonna be in Roy Fox's corner for you guys' match there next week.
Yeah.
So, and man, you know, for you, it's kind of a different dynamic here this year for you. The last 2 years you've had the match of the night the last 2 years against Damien State, and this year you finally get, you know, something different. But your task this year is quite the task when you think of Frankie Kazarian being in that match, and obviously Roy's been there forever as well. So, what's your kind of mindset as you're heading into that? Because obviously with both of those guys, you have plenty of tape that you can watch on both men.
Yeah, so there was a promo I did earlier in the week, and mainly I kind of sat down for a moment and I thought to myself, you know, how many people, like knowing Frankie Kazarian's resume and, you know, with Rory Fox in the mix, how many people are expecting me to lose, you know? And that kind of just the thought of, you know, people doubting who Jared Thumb is and doubting, oh, is Jared Thumb going to bring it all to Frankie Kazarian and Rory Fox in the same night? It got me pretty fired up. It got me really fired up because going into this match, I absolutely have something to prove. And when I said Frankie Kazarian is one of the best wrestlers in the world, I meant that because Frankie Kazarian's been everywhere. New Japan, Ring of Honor, WWE, AEW, in TNA now, and been doing this over 27 years. And Rory Fox, I said, whether we like it or not, he is a legend in our business, and we have to respect that. And I know he's going to try any trick up that sleeve to take this championship right here from me. And having Jacqueline in his corner, that's another element there. But at the same time, the thing I have to prove here, in my opinion, is I can prove I am one of the best up-and-coming wrestlers here in the world against Frankie Kazarian and Rory Fox. Because if I can walk out there and put on a clinic and just go for it, you know, just don't hold anything back, that's exactly what the goal is, and defend this that night and stay the Central Empire Wrestling Heavyweight Champion.
Now, does it feel like any extra added pressure to you throwing a guy like Frankie Kazarian in there, who's been in this business for 20 plus years, who's currently on TV in a pretty damn big role too? And I've said it ever since he was announced. He was on my very first independent show 20 years ago. I was like, I know Austin posted the other day, he's celebrating 20 years in independent wrestling this year, and I was like, damn, we kind of started doing this at the same time Austin and I did. I'm like, dude, I'm celebrating 20 years next month. My first show was October of 2005, so I'm like, it's coming up for me, again, full circle moment having Frankie there. So what does that add extra pressure to you for this matchup? Obviously it's pressure because it's Bridge City, and Bridge City's our WrestleMania, but then you add the element of a TNA star like Frankie Kazarian.
Absolutely. I've been waiting for people to ask me, exactly, how do you feel going into this match? I've honestly, this entire time, the last 2 weeks, I've felt the pressure, and I've felt that, oh man, this is really happening, moment. And the level that Frankie has wrestled, the greats he's wrestled, I watched him wrestle Kurt Angle the other day. I watched him wrestle Samoa Joe. I watched him wrestle Chris Bay and friggin' Ace Austin, in recent years.
Yeah.
But just seeing the list of opponents from every different promotion he's been at, the pressure is on. But being in that position with Damien Saint at Bridge City Slam 5 and Bridge City Slam 6, I believe I thrive in pressure. And this type of pressure, you sink or swim, you become a diamond or you become ashes. And I don't plan to burn up, and I don't plan to drown.
So again, this is coming up on Bridge City Slam 7. What's your first recollection of hearing about Bridge City Slam for the first time? Because obviously you've been doing this for quite a while. So what was your first memory of hearing about Bridge City Slam?
So the first ever Bridge City Slam, kind of a hidden gem out there, but I was at the very first one when Trevor Murdoch did a seminar, and there was a picture of me and Jimmy Wild, who was a part.
I remember that. Austin posted that not that long ago. I remember. Yep.
That was the first Bridge City Slam, and we did the seminar, and I remember watching the show and just thinking in the back of my mind, how do I get on here? And I was I can't remember if it was 2018 or 2019 specifically, but I know it was around that area. I want to say 2018, but I remember one of the moments of the night, it was Sean Nollis versus Storm Thomas, and there was a fan trying to jump over the guardrail to stop the 3 count from happening, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is their guy. And I'm like, dang. I'm like, I want to wrestle here someday.
Yeah, we definitely had some really crazy moments with Bridge City Slam. I was just kind of talking about before we came on. I was part of that first Bridge City Slam on commentary as well. I keep telling Austin, I wish we had the video footage of that somewhere. I know we recorded it because I did the commentary, and we can't find the video footage of it anywhere, but it was pretty cool to think about because at that first Bridge City, we only had half the room. You can divide that room up in half. That's what we had for that very first Bridge City Slam. And then the second year we opened it up, and then it's just, thankfully, we're very blessed that it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And I mean, it doesn't really seem to matter when the time of year Austin does this thing, because he's done it, in the wintertime, like January or February, where you don't know. And we've had, thankfully, amazing turnout, amazing weather for it. And then he's also done it like he does now, and it's kind of come annually. Hey, it's September, and that kind of usually lately has become the final show of the year for CEW, and that's what we're going to do a later in the fall one, which typically lately we haven't been. So that's why I always say, for us, Bridge City is our WrestleMania, and then we kind of have a nice little off season, which is great to have. But again, you're coming up, dude, 1 year as champion. Saturday, you will be 1 day shy of 365 days as champion. And we were talking about the instant ticket match that I think, like I said, I think has the potential to be not only a match of the year for Central Empire Wrestling, but just around Iowa as well. When you look at guys, obviously you're no stranger to Damien Saint. You're no straight. I know you've had a couple dealings with the Death Dealer, probably not as much as you would have liked to at some on down the line there. When you look at that one, what is your thought on who could walk out on that and become somebody that's going to be gunning for you? Because that match happens earlier in the night. So that's also something you guys are going to have to keep in the back of your head. Whoever wins this main event, hey, somebody could be coming for me just the way Jared Thumb did at the end of last year's main event.
Yeah, so as soon as they announced it, I honestly just started thinking about it right away. And it was, I don't want to call it paranoia, but I want to say it's being alert. Like, when you're on a hunt in the woods, you need to be alert of your surroundings. So when I'm at the Bridgeview Center this Saturday, I am definitely going to be aware of my surroundings at all times, even in that ring. And, like, you know, it takes one small freaking mistake, and then it can happen. That's exactly what happened to Rory Fox last year. And I mean, the circumstances I think were a lot different because Rory Fox was taking over Central Empire Wrestling at the time as the champion and holding it hostage. I saw it as I need to take my shot now and take it back for our fans. But with Damien Saint, he's trying to get up there. He's hungry. And I know from last year's Bridge City Slam, within under a minute, when he became a Crimson Mask, he's going to be gunning for blood on me. And I mean, the Death Dealer and I have teamed together against Saint and a partner in the past with him. And, you know, we've had some run-ins, but never any physicality towards each other. So I want to say there's respect there. But everybody wants to be the Central Empire Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. Nobody wants to be number 2, number 4, or number 5. Everybody wants to be number 1. And number 1 to people is this right here. So regardless if it's Damien Saint, regardless if it is the Death Dealer, I'll be watching. And I will have it in the back of my mind, and I will be ready for you.
Shout out to our pal, Mr. Leon King, in the chat here with us tonight. Shout out to you, buddy. Hope you are doing well and hope you are still kicking ass and taking names in your wrestling journey as well, buddy. We're all rooting for you here over at Shotgun Wrestling Radio. So, Jared, again, with all the years of Bridge City Slam, we're at Bridge City Slam 7. You've been a part of a few of these as obviously a fan and as a wrestler. Aside from your match, because, again, you've had 2 back-to-back years of banger matches with Damien Saint. Aside from that, what have been some of your favorite moments that you've experienced with Bridge City Slam?
Oh man, how far do we want to go with this? Because I have a pretty good story from Bridge City Slam 4 with Bushwhacker Luke, and okay, I'll try to keep this as PG as possible. But so me and Donnie are teaming with Bushwhacker Luke in that match, right? With Cliff Studwell, Big Bad Wallace, and Axel Grease. So we go out to the ring, and Donnie tells me this happens. I watched it back the other day to watch it happen. And Luke goes, "What's his name?" And then Donnie's like, "Jared." And he's like, "No, his work name. Jared Thumb." Jared come? I'm watching Donnie's face, and he is dying of laughter. And thankfully, there's going to be people that don't understand that reference here, but there is also some adults here that are going to be dying of laughter. But he's like, "No, Luke, Jared Thumb." And he's like, "Oh, come on, Jared." So then I tag out, and then I'm with Bushwhacker Luke on the apron now. He's like, "Hey, what's your name?" And I tell him Jared Thumb. And then he's like, what do you do with those thumbs? And I kind of just stopped for a second. I was like, well, I kind of have to do everything with them. And he's like, that's a really good answer. And then as soon as Dottie's getting beat up the entire time, Luke is dropping F-bombs. Like, what the is going on? They're taking him. What is the ref doing? And it's just like, dude, I know I'm trying to support my team, but I'm on the apron like this, like, oh my God, I am dying right now.
Oh, that's all. I'm gonna have to go back and watch for that now because that's awesome.
Oh, you'll see like me going and then like snap back into it, but oh, it was hard.
What I remember, because I was there as a fan that year, and I remember the one thing I loved him just going around, and then after you guys were done, you guys got to go around and do the whole thing with the crowd, and all the kids came and did the little train thing with all you guys, and were just doing like that. That was a lot of fun. That was one of those really fun moments, and like even crazier because Butch was like in his 70s back then.
I want to say it was maybe early to mid 70s.
Yeah, and it's like for him to still be able to get in the ring and like entertain. I mean, he obviously didn't really take bumps or anything, but like to get in the ring, just still entertain, at least get a little physical. And it's like, and no different than I think it was the next year we had, Cowboy Bob Orton in there in the ring too, getting physical too. And it's like, God, you dudes are in your city. You do not have to do this. So speaking of this coming Saturday, again, tickets available at Ticketmaster.com. FanFest is 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., which I've always told Austin that time is perfect. I've gone to so many different like wrestling conventions and seen how the autograph setups work and everything. I've been to shows where that you have quite a few stars and they'll only give you like an hour or so to get all your autographs that you want. But it's like a lot of times, especially depending on how much time the superstar gives with their fan that they're paying for, because we've had a lot of superstars who really give their time to the fans. Like Boogeyman, for instance, the year he was there, like he was great with his crowd. Like, the line was long, but when you got up there, he was just awesome for you. And then Aaron says Bushwhacker was 75 or 76 at the time. So yeah, again, damn near 80 years old and still getting in the freaking ring. Can you imagine being almost 80 and getting in the ring still?
No. Oh, that sounds like a rough couple of months after.
Oh, but again, it's just like it's one of those things that 4 to 7 time frame though. It's 2 hours, perfect time to go ahead and get everything situated. Get yourself some food, get your autographs. And I just really think that 4 to 7 time frame is perfect. And the live wrestling show starts at 7. So reading through all the matches, Jared, I know you're going to be busy because you're going to have to talk about your match with your other opponents here at the show on Saturday. Is there any match that you're looking forward to maybe sneaking out and getting a peek at? Because again, a lot of these matches are really great matches. I wonder if there's any that you're going to be interested in, seeing.
That's a pretty difficult one because the one thing I want to do is make sure that every match on this card is great, but I definitely think with Damien Saint and Death Dealer's history, that is going to be the one that I need to watch with that instant ticket on the line and everything as well. But, with all the up-and-comers out there as well, I would like to get out there and see as many, but the Death Dealer and Damien Saint match is going to be like top of the list just with that instant ticket on the line, just to find out who's going to be trying to hunt me down this time.
The other thing I'm excited to see too, and I feel like it's really not been talked about a whole hell of a lot, is seeing the Vaudevillains back in action. Because I was actually went out and watched a couple of their things from NXT here the other week. I'm like, God, I forgot how much of a fun tag team they were together. They had that great entrance. Ladies and gentlemen, gather around. I'm like, Oh, that is going to be a lot of fun because, again, it's been a while since I've seen them do their tag team thing. I mean, Ray Wall, he's a great commentator. Like, if I also could pay him a little extra, I'd say, let him sit on commentary with me for a match. Like, he's one of those dudes who I think is very, very underrated as a commentator.
Yeah. Oh, I heard.
So, yeah, it'll be nice.
Yeah, it'll be a really great experience for sure, seeing the Vaudevillains again. And it's been a while since I've seen them tag together, so like getting to see it live will be a different breed of animal.
Yeah, well, and I'll be honest, I didn't realize. I guess they were still kind of tagging together on the Indies either. I kind of thought Matt had been kind of scaling back on wrestling a little bit and kind of just focused on his commentary duties for TNA there. Which again, he's done phenomenal work. He's one of those guys. If you're a young up and coming commentator, that that you can really look up to. And I have a video request here from one of your old. So, all right, I'm going to bring this next person in, and you may or may not like him, but we'll give it a whirl.
Oh, boy.
Oh, he's unable to join. What are we doing here? Gary said the match that he's looking for is Austin's 8-man tag. Yeah, I agree there, Gary. I think the Iowa Legends match is going to be a lot of fun. So many guys I grew up watching with Iowa Independent Wrestling that I'm just super excited to see again. Let's see if it'll go. Did it go? Okay, here it's coming in.
Oh.
Again, you have a very long history with this person. I'm hoping we can keep it respectful, though, because we are talking Bridge City Slam. And, oh, look who it is. It's your old buddy. But, hey, we are going to keep it peaceful here, boys. The battles you have become legendary. They're match of the year battles. I would think those battles alone would earn you to some really big respect for each other.
Champ, hello. Am I allowed to speak? Good sir.
I mean, you're already talking, so I say go ahead.
I just didn't want to interrupt the champ, because here, all right, let's just be real, all right? Let me start it out with this, all right? Yes, is there animosity there? There always will be. But one thing, I will give you props. You have held this company up the last few months, almost year, I should say. You've given a lot to the company. You've given a lot to what you love, man. And honestly, there's nothing more respectful than that when it comes to me. I think you've been able to do what you set out to do. You are truly the hunter. And, just mad respect to you. But all the same token, you do see the stipulation for Mr. Dealer and Mai's match. You do understand whoever wins that gets the instant ticket. You've been there. You've been in that spot. You earned your way. And like you stated, I've been watching for about 20 minutes now, however long it's been going. A little bit, maybe over 10 minutes. I don't know. I can't tell time. I've been at work so long. But truthfully, you said it best. Like, nobody wants to be second place. No one wants to be third, fourth, fifth, right? Like, no one wants the bronze medal. Everyone wants the gold, and that's what you got on your shoulder. And unfortunately for you, after I beat the Death Dealer this weekend and get that instant ticket, you bet your ass I'm gonna be cashing that in as soon as possible. Whether it be at the end of your match, maybe it's in the middle of your match, maybe you're down and out, and I just want to take it all away from all three of you. Make it a fatal four-way. Who knows? Maybe I'll walk out right at the entrance and I cash that instant ticket, just like RVD did when he cashed in his Money in the Bank contract. I'm going to cash it in before anybody else, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to walk out and I'm going to cash in, and I'll make it a fatal four-way. Who knows? But I'll tell you this. I really hope you're champ, dude. I really hope you're champ once I'm cashing this thing in. Because there's nothing more than I love to do is put you 6 feet deep in the ground, especially after last year. So, Saturday, be vigilant, like you said. Be ready, like you said. Because you never know what's coming your way, buddy.
right. So, are you done there?
I am now officially done. You are allowed to speak. Wait, I'm sorry, champ. You can speak.
We're gonna go with that. Okay, so let me take it back a step right here. So, yes, there is obviously respect here. Like at the end of the match last year, if you watch footage back, I looked back and I gave you the thumbs up because I mean, you were bleeding profusely, really badly. I ended up going to the emergency room after that. But you had a lot of guts in that match, and I think you really proved that you are the future of Central Empire Wrestling. But we're in the now right now. And I am the now right now. So whether it be you or Death Dealer that gets that instant ticket, like I said, yeah, I'll be vigilant and I will be ready for whatever's coming. But I would pick that shot real wisely because some things aren't meant to be hunted. Because you can really quickly go from being the hunter to the hunted.
I truly believe your adage. But you know, emperors, you know, dictators, whatever you want to call them, but just an emperor in general. Usually, when they start to take their throne, you see change start to happen. And I truly think right now, as you know, that I claim myself to be the emperor of Central Empire Wrestling. But you see that, like, no matter what I do, what I say, how I portray myself when I go out there, people love Damien. People love me. I'm not going to make people bow down. I'm a man of the people. And I'll tell you, once I become champion, and I'm telling you, once I take that gold off of whoever has that thing on their shoulders, and I take that for myself, people will bow down. People will understand that I am truthfully the one and only future of this company. And you'll have to answer to me at that point.
You got anything to say, Zach, right now? Because, I mean,
well,
you sounding like a broken record right now with this guy.
From my perspective, I think any fan of Central Empire Wrestling, or even the two of you, would be crazy if they said they didn't want to see Thumb versus Saint 3. I mean, that's something I think we all would absolutely love to see. Like I said, back-to-back years, you guys both had match of the year, match of the years at Bridge City Slam. So yeah, I think any time that collision hopefully happens, it's set up to be another match of the year between you two.
Well, the one thing I can definitely say is Damien Saint versus Jared Thumb 3, if it ever happens, whenever we get it, whatever happens, it ain't going to be pretty.
I would agree.
Because, I mean, last year he left bloodied. What's going to happen in the third installment? What type of destruction are we going to see? You're going to see two men that had something to prove at Bridge City Slam 5 go out a third time and show that they are the mainstays of Central Empire Wrestling.
You know, you guys have been talking about like matches to watch and all that stuff before, like when I was coming on here and when I started watching and etc. But like, truthfully, like I do believe that the last 2 years, especially, there's been nothing that's really compared to those two matches in general. I wholeheartedly believe that. Yes, we've had great matches on the card, but when it comes to storytelling purposes and carrying on a legacy, like you cemented yourself as two legends in this promotion. You know what I mean? With those two matches alone, you don't have to do anything else. You don't even have to introduce us. And I think that you see those two matches, that it'll live in infamy in this state, in this promotion throughout history. And one thing Jared really emphasizes that, yeah, like walking out bloodied and really beating the absolute piss out of each other, but it's just that, that storytelling aspect too. And not to get too savvy with all that, but, it holds water. And when 3 does happen, you see people's asses are going to be in seats. That's what we've created with this whole thing. And, one of the most formidable opponents I've ever had in the ring is Jared Thumb, and will always be Jared Thumb, regardless of what path we end up taking. One of us can get signed somewhere. One of us can go down the line and maybe go overseas somewhere. Who knows what happens, But at the end of the day, I know I can always come back and say, man, I'm glad I fucking did that. Excuse my language. But truthfully, glad I fucking did that in my career. However, the one thing I have not fucking done in my career, once again, excuse my language, is beat Jared Thumb. And how beautiful it will be when I put his shoulders to the mat and say 1, 2, 3. In my head, I hear the ringing and I know it and I see it and I visualize it. So Jared, I'm telling you, when 3 happens, not only will it be a knockdown drag out, the hunter is going to become the hunted. Like you just said. You're the hunter. And I'll be the one hunting you. And I'm going to be the one that beats you on number 3. And that one, it will be a banger, and it'll be ceilings above what we put in 1 and 2. We had what? We went. I don't even know. I'm not even gonna say, because truthfully, it just goes down in history and in infamy in Central Empire. So when 3 happens, it'll be a beautiful thing. You'll literally see the rise of greatness and the fall of greatness all in one.
Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. Again, Bridge City Slam this coming Saturday. Guys, can you believe we're finally at show week? We've been talking about this show for what feels like the last 4 or 5 months. And it's like, damn, all of a sudden it's show week. We're here. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Tickets start at just $20. Again, we have The Godfather all aboard the Ho Train. We have Christy Hemme coming. We have Jacqueline coming. We have Frankie Kazarian coming. We have Masha Slamovich coming. We have the Vaudevillains coming. I mean, just an absolute stacked lineup. And, Damien, I know I had you on here last week, but out of everybody I just read, dude, who are you most looking forward to sharing the locker room? Aside from your good buddy Jared here. I know you love sharing the locker room with Jared, but who aside from Jared are you looking forward to sharing your locker room out of the whole list of names that I just read to you?
Well, Vaudevillains, I think, are always the one that kind of pop out, because obviously we met half of them at Hall of Fame show, and he was a sweetheart. So he was, and catching Damien St. C's sweetheart in live, you're literally watching it live. But he was great. That was awesome. I think meeting Frankie Kazarian is going to be pretty awesome. I mean, that's a learning tree all in itself. Mm-hmm. So kudos to the champ once again, giving you respect and props. You're getting a huge opportunity, so don't waste it, sir. Make sure you're holding on to that title when I have the instant ticket, so I can call you out. So keep that thing as long as you possibly can, so I can whoop your ass for it. But truthfully, yes, he has a long history in wrestling. He's very much highly held up there as far as talent is concerned. A professional's professional and a worker, man. I mean, I watch his stuff and I'm like, this guy can work, Obviously, knowing wrestling now from top to bottom is, being able to watch someone like that put on matches the way he's put on matches. I think that we're going to see a really good triple threat match come Saturday, and I'm actually very excited to watch, because obviously I'll be keeping my eyes peeled, especially after I win the instant ticket.
So you're saying you'll be sitting at the rampway with your instant ticket, watching very closely?
Yeah, absolutely.
Smart.
Absolutely.
Smart.
I think it's pretty smart. I mean, I might have a microphone, and literally right at the beginning of the match, I might just be like, hey, here it is. Now it's a fatal 4-way. Who knows? But like I said, I got to win my match first.
True. And let's not count out Death Dealer. I mean, Death Dealer, that's a big SOB, and you are going to have your hands full with him. And I know you've had some really great battles with him in the past, too. And, again, this is going to be one of both your guys' biggest tests today just because of the landscape of what we've made Bridge City Slam into. I say it all the time. Bridge City Slam is our WrestleMania, so it's your guys' WrestleMania moment here this coming weekend, both of you. For Damien, you're going to be, like I said, Death Dealer. Jared, Frankie, and Rory Fox, both guys who have combined 40-something years of experience in the wrestling. When you combine how long both of these dudes have been a part of professional wrestling. So it's it's going to be a really great weekend, and I know I'm excited. I'm always excited, but I know you guys got to be just over the moon because you're going to be sitting there lacing up your boots, and you're looking. There's Frankie Kazarian, two chairs away from me, or whatever. That's got to be kind of a mind F for you guys too. When you guys get it's kind of one of those how the hell did I get here moments.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I will say, and not to take over this whole podcast, I just jumped on and everything, but
hi Tina, our good friend Tina's on the show tonight. Everybody too, say hi, Tina.
A lot of the stuff that I talk about is to fear Damien, right? And I'm gonna be real with you, is Jared one of my most formidable opponents in this state, in my career, etc. The past 5 years, absolutely. But I think you put Death Dealer right next to that, and Death Dealer is on a tear. Always has been, wherever he goes. We faced each other in several different promotions. I said it in my my video that I sent out, calling him out and saying, hey, you better bring your A game. But truthfully, here's a little bit of vulnerability. I'm a man of the people. I got to be truthful. I am actually a little bit fearful myself, if I'm being honest. I mean, this is a huge task. There's something huge on the line, something that I've never had given me before, a chance at this. And I've cried about chances. I've talked about how I haven't had these chances. Why are all these other people getting chances, pointing the finger at other people? And here I am. I've earned the right to get this. You know what I mean? And I feel good about it, feeling very positive. And I think, truthfully, opening up into your inner shell and giving yourself, you can earn things, and just everything comes full circle back to you. It's always been said that way in wrestling. As long as you put the time in, it always comes back full circle to you. One of the great minds have told me that, and I will not mention names, but they have told me that, and I carry that. And I think, like I told you the other night, Zach and DJ, that, I think you're seeing a change in Damien that you didn't think you'd ever see before, but it's a whole spectrum, There's going to be an aura. There's going to be something different, and I think it's going to be really cool to see. And I'm excited for the future, not only for myself, but for Central Empire Wrestling in general, because you're seeing two of the greatest in this state literally right now on this podcast go off about, each other and whatnot, but two people that can definitely hold the company up and show what we have and what we can fucking provide to these people and put asses in seats. So giving a little bit of promotion here. So there's that. Thank you, CEW. You can pay me later. But yeah, so it's honestly this Saturday, I'm super excited, not only to watch Iowa State beat Iowa this weekend, but also for me to get the win an instant ticket. And then, I'm actually going to say this, and I don't know if I really want to, but I really, truly want Jared Thumb to beat Rory's ass and literally pin Frankie Kazarian for his championship. That's the only time I will ever say that I want Jared Thumb to win / get anything in life. So, there you go, champ.
Hey, Damien, your good buddy Omen Black is in the chat with you as well right now. And again, I want to give a shout out to him for being here tonight. Shout out to our pal Heather, who was also in here earlier. Shout out to Gary. Gary was in here earlier. And yeah, you and Omen had a hell of a battle there a few weeks back. And, yeah, you guys just absolutely had a hell of a battle. And again, guys, we're just a few days away. Bridge City Slam this coming Saturday. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Before I let you go, because I don't want to take up too much more of your guys' time, Jared, Damien, do you have any final words? Jared, we're going to let you go first. Again, triple threat match, CEW title online. What are your final thoughts?
So, not to add to what Damien said, but he says you can earn things in this company, in this business, and everything, right? I go by saying of earn everything, deserve nothing. That's a lifestyle for me, and that can be anybody's lifestyle, honestly. But looking at this match against Frankie Kazarian and Rory Fox, I don't see it as did Jared Thumb really deserve this? No, I worked my ass off for over 8 years to earn this matchup. And, like, if you would have told me 8 years ago in my career I'd be doing this, I would have just laughed at you and be like, nah, it ain't happening. I'm just Jared Thumb. And here I am 8 years later, making this very name bigger than it ever should have been. And, you know, walking in against Frankie Kazarian and Rory Fox, like I said, it is going to be a very difficult task. But I have a shot, like I said once, and I'll say it before, again, I have a shot to prove that I can be one of the best in this business in the world if I beat Frankie Kazarian and Rory Fox in the same night. Even just hanging with two of the elites, I think puts me up there.
And again, we just got a comment a little bit ago from Donnie Pepper saying he wants to see Rory gets his ass beat up too. So nice little change of heart there. Nice change of heart there from Donnie Pepper Cricket. Good Lord, man. Let's give a round of applause for Donnie on that one. So Donnie, thank you for being in the chat tonight. I know you were on the 2 count just a little bit ago, so thanks for hopping over here and joining us in the chat room tonight. And again, I'm going to toss it over to you, Damien. Final thoughts on your match against the Death Dealer for the instant ticket.
Yeah, truthfully, I'm just going to start with a little promoting here. So like, subscribe, whatever you got to do, get yourself knowing what the heck is going on at CEW at Central Empire Wrestling on Facebook. Go to their Instagram, find it, and find the handle. I don't remember what it's called if you maybe want to pull that up. But hit that like button, hit subscribe, share. That goes to everybody, literally. We are literally doing big things next year. Beautiful things, gorgeous, and I'm excited. Yeah, sorry. I had to. I had to.
Big, beautiful things.
Beautiful things. But I Death Dealer, I'm telling you, you have to bring your A game on Saturday because I'm going to bring myself at 150 to whatever amount of percent that I need to defeat you and finally put you under. Because honestly, you've had my number, and now it's time for me to flip the script. All right? Truthfully, it's time for me to end this little feud we got going on and just showcase myself at the Iowa Showcase match and walk out with the instant ticket this Saturday, September 6th at Bridge City Slam 7. It is time for me to cement my legacy and show the people why they deserve much better than what they've ever had, ever in Central Empire Wrestling history. I think you'll see that.
And there you had it, folks, from two of the best in Central Empire Wrestling today and the best in the Midwest that we have going for us here. Again, this Saturday, Bridge City Slam Fan Fest, 4 to 7 p.m. Live wrestling begins at 7. Tickets starting at just $20. Get them at Ticketmaster.com, or I believe you can still buy them at the box office the day of at the Bridgeview Center as well, I believe. So, again, it's going to be an absolute great show there. Guys, thank you for coming on tonight and joining me. It's been a lot of fun doing these Facebook Lives. Hopefully we'll do more of these here in the future. And everybody, until next time, if we don't see you at the show, we will see you right here on the World Wide Web.